My name is Tommy Springfield.
And I'm better than you!
And on this channel, I present you with the facts. I give you my opinion on those facts. And if you like how I do that, please hit that like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, click all so you can get notifications every time I drop one of my videos. Maybe you've been here before, maybe you haven't. But before we get into today's video, please
allow me to reintroduce myself.
I like to think of myself as a superhero, you know, but the ghetto version like Batman. But I'm that man. I live in a that cave, I drive a that mobile, and I'm still that nigga. Today's video is about Diddy and Jay-Z being sued for having sex with a 13-year-old back in 2000. There's many ways you can look at this, but what I want to say first and foremost, this is a democratic justice system. So y'all out here voting for the Democrats and they going after your top celebrities. They going after your billion-dollar black men. But this is what you vote for and this is what you get. Second, you can look at this like, God damn, Tommy Springfield got Jay-Z and Diddy paperwork. So when he say he got Springfield niggas paperwork, he ain't lying. That part. Enough of me talking. Let's get to reading. So as you can see, this is legit. This was filed today, 12/8/2024, in United States District Court, Southern District of New York. Jane Doe versus Sean Combs in Daddy's house and all the other bullshit. And the other important name is right there, Sean Carter. Yup, that part. Let's get into it. Plaintiff Jane Doe. Plaintiff by and through her attorneys, the Buzbee lawyer firm for her complaint alleges as follows. Defendant Sean Combs, a.k.a. P. Diddy, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, a.k.a. Diddy, and a bunch of other a.k.a., along with his longtime friend and collaborator, Sean Carter, a.k.a. Jay-Z, drugged and raped a 13-year-old girl at an after party following the 2000 Vibe Awards. Another celebrity stood by and watched as Combs and Carter took turns assaulting the minor. Many others was present at that party but did nothing to stop the assault. Combs has been allowed for years to conduct himself in manner without any consequences, he believes. 1 second. Sorry, I had that alarm on. The fan on, and I didn't know if it was in the recording or not. So, he believes he is above the law. He is not. His close friend, Sean Carter, a.k.a. Jay-Z, a.k.a. that nigga, has been with Combs during many such instances described here. Both predators must face justice. First, both proprietors. For decades, defendant Combs abused, molested, raped, assaulted, threatened, and coerced women, minors, and others for sexual gratification to assert dominance and to conceal his apparent conduct. He accomplished these acts by and through a criminal enterprise built on his success as a rapper, record producer, and record executive. Combs is one of the wealthiest musical artists in the world. Behind the facade of being a 3-time Grammy Award winner, discovering and developing multiple famous musical acts, and ranking on the Forbes list of the highest paid entertainers in the world. There exists something sinister, a dark underbelly of crime, sex, trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, bribery, and prostitution. Combs is a menace to society, women, and children. While his wealth has kept him above consequences for years, Combs now faces the awesome power of American judicial system and ultimately a jury of his peers who will be asked to punish him for his deplorable conduct described herein. My issue is this. For years and years, we hear all these Diddy stories and what happened at a Diddy party. So, my opinion is if you go to a Diddy party, you deserve to get what you get. You heard the same stories. And if I go to a party and they say, we need to take your phone and you need to sign this, I'm not going in. So, if you allow them to take your phone and you sign that paper and they rub some baby oil on you and they take your booty, you deserve that. That's what you went there for. You didn't go there because you heard his parties were born. You didn't go there because you heard nothing be popping at his parties. You went there because you heard the total opposite. Let's stop the bullshit, folks. Now let's talk about Combs' business. Combs' business enterprise is central to the pervasive acts of sexual assault and abuse committed by him during the last decades. Combs operated his business headquarters at various times in Manhattan and Los Angeles under a variety of United States-based corporate entities, including Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Books Holding Inc., Bad Boy Records LLC, Bad Boy Entertainment LLC, Bad Boy Productions LLC, Diddy's House Recording Studio Inc., and a bunch of others. Let's skip that. Corporate entities in Combs' business portfolio include record labels, a recording studio, and apparel line and alcoholic spirits, promoting business, a marketing agency, talent discovery, a television network, and media. On the surface, each of these businesses serve a legitimate purpose related to entertainment, music, and other subjects. But in reality, Combs, by and through himself and his agents, employees, and contractors, use these businesses to sexually assault, abuse, threaten, and coerce hundreds of individuals through sexual quid pro quo scams, as well as to take advantage of individuals with impunity, thinking the victims would never have any recourse. Combs and his agents, employees, and contractors through these Combs businesses will tell victims this is what it takes to be famous. What are you willing to do to become a star and perform this sexual act, or else in exchange for the victim performing a non-consensual sexual act for the gratifications of Combs and his cars. Now, what this paper just said is he'll tell you do this, do that if you want to be famous, right? And you do it because you want to be famous. Now, how is that non-consensual? If a dude tell me tomorrow, hey, man, I could make your dreams come true and make you a millionaire and you can take care of your kids and feed your kids, all you got to do is give me your booty hole. If I toot my ass up and give that man my booty hole, how can I then came back later and said he tricked me? Because he didn't give me the money? I was stupid to believe that. I didn't get the money up front. I was dumb. If a nigga say suck his dick and you do it and don't get the money first, that's on you. You don't get to sue later. He tricked you. He played you. Let's stop with the nonsense. There is no victims. Members and associates of the Combs businesses engage in or attempt to engage in, among other activities, sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for the purpose of prostitution, coercion and enticement to encourage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. The Combs business constituted an ongoing organization whose members functions as a continuing unit for common purpose of achieving the objectives of Combs. For years, Combs and his businesses engaged in persistent and persistent. Oh my God, brother. I just have worse luck. For years, Combs and his businesses engaged in persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse toward women and minors. This abuse of at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. As part of his patterns of abuse, Combs manipulated both men and women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of sexual activity in both commercial sex workers and unsuspecting partygoers. Combs ensured participators from these individuals ensured participation from these individuals by among other things obtaining and distributing narcotics to them with or without their knowledge, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening them to cut off the same, and using intimidation, violence, and explicit drugs. Combs particularly fancied the use of the popular date rape drug Riferol, or GHB, to commit heinous non-consensual acts of sexual violence and rape unto countless victims. Combs often would secretly use the drug in an alcohol beverage served at his parties. Partygoers were forced to consume the alcohol beverages containing GHB either prior to entering or while at Combs' party. There are also allegations of Combs dousing victims in lotion or similar body oils also laced with GHB so that the drug would be absorbed through the victim's skin and make it easier to assault him or her. Further, it was well known that Combs had a practice of lacing water bottles with other substances such as Xanax and distributing them at parties. Combs' recurrent and pervasive physical abuse took place for multiple decades. His tendencies of violence and sexual assault were well known amongst his colleagues, employees, agents, and businesses. On numerous occasions, from at least in or about 1996 and continuing for years, Combs assaulted women and men by striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at them, and kicking them. Combs also assaulted children, both physically and sexually. In 1996, Combs was found guilty of criminal mischief for threatening a photographer from the New York Post with a gun. In 1999, he was arrested and charged with second-degree assault and criminal mischief in connection with assaulting a record executive. Combs was arrested again the same year for his involvement in the shooting at the club in New York. Another instance of violence occurred at Los Angeles Hotel in or about March 2016, which was captured on video and later publicly reported, where Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a woman as she was attempting to leave his hotel room. When hotel security staff intervened, Combs attempted to bribe the staff member to ensure silence. So, more bullshit. You're claiming you was raped in 2000, right? That's cool. That's what you claiming. What does all this have to do with it? Not a fucking thing. None of this has to do with your shit, people. So please understand this is what they do to pump shit up. This is what they do to make the lawsuits look bigger. This is what they do, because none of this has nothing to do with anything. She is not suing for this. She wasn't around in 99. She wasn't there in 2016. This is about 2000, folks. Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. In the past year, numerous civil complaints have been filed by plaintiffs who allege they have been sexually abused by Combs between 1991 and 2009. In November 2023, 3 lawsuits were filed against Combs under the New York Adult Survivors Act. Cassie Venture and artist signed the Bad Boy sued Combs in New York for rape and physical abuse. She alleged Combs facilitated these acts by and through supplying Miss Venture with copious amounts of drugs and urging her to take them beginning in 2016. Joe Dickinson Neal also sued Combs in New York, alleging Combs drugged her, sexually assaulted her, and secretly recorded her in assault in 1999. Liz Gardner, who Combs met in an event hosted by a record label affiliate with Bad Boy, sued him for raping her and a friend in 1990 or 91 when she was only 16. In December 2023, an anonymous plaintiff sued Combs in New York for drugging and gang raping her in 2003 when she was only 17 years old. These victims allege that employees and business associates of Combs through their affiliation with Bad Boy Enterprise lured her to Combs' home where Combs then raped her, right? So, let's go. She alleges this happened in 2006 from other people. Yes, we know from the video Cassie was getting her ass beat, but we know she went back after she got her ass beat. We know she still lived a life after she got her ass beat. And we know she moved on, married her man, was quiet, married the white dude, was very quiet for a long time. Then she seen Diddy living his life with Young Miami, and her white husband don't got that Diddy money, so she's not riding around in those big cars and those fancy houses anymore. So she fucking sued, not a fucking victim. This person, you got assaulted in 1991. This person, maybe 1991, and y'all didn't go to the police. Now you going to the police in 2024? Come on. Please, American people, don't tell me you falling for this shit. This is all money grabs. In December 2023, anonymous plaintiff sued Combs in New York for drugging and gang raping her. In February 2024, Roddy Little Rod Jones, one of Combs' former producers, sued Combs for forcing him engaged in unwanted sex acts and sex trafficking. Among other allegations, Mr. Jones alleged that Mr. Combs regularly drugged others, including minors, by giving them drugs laced with ecstasy and other date rape drugs. Mr. Jones alleged that Combs, in fact, drugged him as well in order to commit acts of sexual assault. In May 2024, former model Crystal McKinney and April Lumpur sued Combs. Ms. Kinney alleged that Combs drugged and sexually assaulted her at his recording studio in 2003, mimicking what has now become a known pattern. No, it's not a known pattern. One bitch heard one bitch say this and said, I'm going to say the same thing. No one ever acts like that can be an option. Maybe all these bitches is lying because some of these bitches' lawsuit has already been dropped for lying. With Mr. Combs promised Miss McKinney to help her with her modeling kit in exchange for engaging in sexual contact with him. Mrs. Lumpus, an intern at Arista Records, which was an owner of Bad Boy, also sued Combs in May 24 in New York County Supreme Court for raping her on multiple occasions, secretly filming these acts and showing the recordings to multiple people. Ms. Lumpus also alleges that Combs ordered her to take drugs on one occasion before he raped her. So someone made you take drugs. You couldn't say no. And he raped you on multiple occasions, so you came back. Listen, I'm not buying, she came back and because she this. Bullshit. Let's stop making excuses for these people just because you want to see the billionaire go down. You don't get raped on multiple occasions. The first time a person rapes you, you either go to police or you stay the fuck away from them. You don't go back. Stop it. In July 2024, former adult star Adrian English, who was employed by Combs as an entertainer at his famous white parties that brought together the biggest names in the music and entertainment industry, sued Combs in Southern District of New York for sex trafficking, alleged that he required her to consume drinks laced with ecstasy and sexually recorded to sexual acts. In September 2024, singer-songwriter Don Angelique Richards also sued Combs. Richards was employed by Combs as part of the girl group Dating the King, formed by Combs, and later as a key member of Combs' band Diddy Dirty Money. She sued Combs in New York for sexual assault, false imprisonment, and for subjecting her to hostile working conditions due to her gender, including degrading comments and threats. Ms. Don has alleged that Combs regularly supplied others, including minors, and copious amounts of drugs and alcohol, and subject them to sexual acts while they were sedated and unconscious due to the drugs and alcohol. So, let me ask you this. If DIDDY Kane and all these other people, oh, he drugged minors and took advantage of them. So you watched. So you part of that crime. And after the act was over, and after you was with Diddy, did you call the police and say, yo, last night Diddy drugged a little kid and fucked him? No, you didn't do none of that. You came back to go to the next party. There's no victims, folks. Pay attention. Open your eyes. Look, there's no victims. No one ran to tell the police he was sleeping with minors. You know why? Because it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Once Cassie got the money, all this is happening now. It's money. Everybody want money. They thought the man was weak. They thought they had him, and everybody want money. In September 2024, a federal grand jury in Manhattan indicted Combs and charged him with sex trafficking, racketeering, and the creation of criminal enterprise in which he abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. See United States of America versus Sean Combs, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, and all that indictment. The indictment explains that Combs' abuse of women and minors was enabled and conspired with by the employees, resources, and influence of the mostly false business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged and attempted to engage in among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Combs' long history of violence against women unequivocally established that his actions and motive by gender, both men and women. Combs had profound contempt for women and a desire to dominate both minors and other men. His conduct shows a long-standing practice of negating, defeating, and attempting to humiliate men, women, and children. His practices and desires are different for men, women, and children, but his actions are unequivocally motivated by the victim's particular gender and age. Plaintiff's allegations herein substantively minor Cole's prior conduct as established through criminal indictments and other lawsuits. Through this case, plaintiff seeks a full measure of justice from a man who thought his power, money, and influence rendered him untouchable. Plaintiff joins many other victims by filing his complaints and hopes their common voices make it impossible for Combs to assault another person ever again. Defendant Carter is like Combs, a widely successful rapper, businessman. Carter and Combs have a long history together. Carter met and began collaborating musically with Combs in 1990. Combs and Carter rose together to the very top of the hip-hop industry in terms of fame and influence. By the end of that decade, Carter and Combs were not simply occasional collaborators in music, but the two men developed a close friendship that has been well documented from the late 1990s to the present. Together, they attended countless music industry events for each other's business ventures, parties, and after parties. Indeed, the two are apparently so close that Combs stated in 2023 that Carter is the only person other than Combs' mother who was allowed to call him by his legal first name of Sean. In 2000, near the height of their fame, power, and influence, Combs and Carter attended the 2000 Video Music Awards in New York. Afterwards, Combs hosted an after-party for many of his most famous celebrities in the music and entertainment industries, including Carter, which is where the events alleged in this complaint occurred. Plaintiff Jane Doe is a female who resides in Alabama. Defendant Sean Combs is a male who on information and belief, resides in New York City. Though incarceration in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, on information and belief at all relevant times, Combs owned and or controlled Bad Boy Entertainment Holdings Inc. Bad Boy, all the names, I'm not going to read them. The facts of Combs' ownership and titles after Combs corporations enable and conspire with him to commit the unlawful sexual acts against plaintiff described here. Defendant's Daddy House Holding Inc. is a domestic business corporation that is incorporated in New York, and on information and belief, now it has principal place of business at 9255 Sunset Boulevard, second floor, West Hollywood, California. Combs is listed as the CEO in public filings and listed address of 1710 Broadway, New York, New York. At the time of these events alleged, Diddy's house was a world-class recording studio owned by Combs, located at 321 West 44th Street, Suite 201, New York, New York. 10036. On information and belief at all relevant times, Bad Boy and Combs together owned and operated Daddy's House. On information and belief that Bad Boy Recording Studio was located on the premises of Daddy's House. Combs used Daddy's House brand statue in their ownership and titles at Diddy's house to commit the unusual sexual violence against plaintiffs. Defendant, whatever, whatever company that is, dumb stuff, including connection with the criminal enterprise to avoid liability. Combs Global currently owns, controls, and or oversees Bad Boys and Combs' other business ventures in the music, fashion, fragrance, beverage, marketing, film, television, and media industry. As part of his re-owned Bad Boy record label and brand, Combs has established several corporate entities under the Bad Boy name over the past few decades, including but not limited to the Bad Boy and all that. On belief, all activity Bad Boy entities are now owned and or controlled by Combs and or Combs Global. Combs used the Bad Boy premises recording studio and ownership and titles at Bad Boy to commit the unlawful act. Defendant Bad Boy Entertainment is a domestic business corporation incorporated in New York that, on information and belief, now its principal place of business is 92 Somerset and blah blah yada yada. Defendant Bad Boy's public holding. Defendant Bad Boy's books. Defendant Bad Boy Records. Defendant Bad Boy Entertainment. It's all the same, folks. Defendant Bad Boy Productions. Defendant Organization. Thus 1 through 10 are currently unknown entities who were owned and or employed. Defendant Combs enabled and conspired with the commission of the conduct complained of herein. As these parties engage in discovery, plaintiff retains the right to amend the complaint to add these entities by name. So she got 10 more companies they're claiming. Defendant individual does 1 through 10 are currently unknown celebrities and or persons of interest who enabled or conspired with the commission of the conduct complaint or hearing of these parties engaged in discovery. Plaintiff retains the right to amend the complaint to add these individuals' names later. So she got 10 more people and 10 more companies she claiming she could name at a later date that was involved in this situation. Defendant Sean Carter is a male who, on information and belief, maintains residence in both New York and Los Angeles. Defendant Carter is more commonly known by his industry name Jay-Z. Carter was identified in plaintiff's original complaint as Celebrity A. Prior to the filing of this amendment complaint, Carter received a letter from plaintiff's counsel requesting a mediation to resolve this matter. Upon present information and belief, Jay-Z responded to said letter by not only filing an elderly previously lawsuit, but by also orchestrating a conspiracy of harassment, bullying, and intimidation against plaintiffs' lawyers, their families, employees, and former associates in an attempt to silence plaintiffs from naming Jay-Z. This effort was meant to scare plaintiff and discredit her counsel. The effort failed. Indeed, plaintiff chose to file this amendment as a result of the ingenious conduct perpetrated by Carter. Each of the Combs corporations aided and abetted Combs and committed the unlawful sexual violence against plaintiffs described herein are alter egos for Combs, completely dominated by him and used for his personal interest to engage in wrongdoing which harmed plaintiffs and others, and served or have served as vehicles for Combs to move, dispose of, and or insulate his assets, including in connection with his criminal activities, to avoid compensating the victims of his many crimes, including plaintiffs. This court has subject matter jurisdiction pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 133(2) because this case is between citizens of different states and the amount of currency exceeds $75,000. The court has specific personal jurisdictions over the defendants because the acts giving rise to plaintiff's claims took place in New York State, and because several of the defendants are domiciled in New York and or regular transact business in New York. Venue is proper in this district pursuant because a substantial part of this event or omissions giving rise to claims occurred in this district. Plaintiff hereby demands a trial by jury or her claims in this for her by jury on her claims in this action. Factual allegations: on or around September 7, 2000, plaintiff, then 13 years old, had a friend drive and drop her off near Radio City Music Hall in New York City so she could try to attend the Video Music Awards. Attending the VMAs was on the plaintiff's bladed lip, and she believed she could gain injury. So, September 7, 2000, a 13-year-old was dropped off at Radio City Hall to go to the VMAs. Where was her parents? Right. See, it's always the celebrity's fault. It's always this person's fault. Where was her parents? What was a 13-year-old doing getting dropped off in New York City at the VMAs, allegedly? That doesn't even make sense. I know what my kids was doing at 13. They were fucking home. They was under my thumb and they mama thumb. They were being well controlled. They were nowhere without us. Period. But okay. Attend the Video Music Awards. Attend the VM was on the plaintiff's bucket list, and she believed she could gain entry. See, this is why you know it's a lie. Back in 2000, the younger generation wasn't using the word bucket list. That was a older word back then, an older people word. In 2000, young kids wasn't using the word bucket list, but whatever. Plaintiff arrived at the venue and saw large crowds gathering as artists and entertainers began arriving. Plaintiff was very excited. As the event began, much of the crowd moved inside, but plaintiff without a ticket remained outside with others and watched the VMAs on a jumbotron. Determined to get into the VMAs or an after party, she approached several limousine drivers parked nearby and attempted to talk her way into either. One of the limousine drivers she spoke to claimed to work for defendant Combs. The driver told her that Combs liked young girls and said she fit what Diddy was looking for, and while not allowing her into the awards, the driver invited her to the after party. So, Diddy never invited you to the party. A limo driver invited you to the party. Is your story. Okay. I didn't know limo drivers had the authority to bring you to a party. Most limo drivers are just hired. They don't have the right to give you. But anyways, okay, that's the story. The driver stated that he had to drive Combs and others to the after party first, but instructed plaintiff to return to his location after the event and that he picked her up and took her to the after party. Later that evening, plaintiff excitedly returned to the same location and waited for what seemed to her a long time. The driver eventually returned and drove her what he described at the after party. After approximately 20 minutes, plaintiff arrived at what she believed to be a large white residence with a gated U-shaped driveway. Once inside, two men asked plaintiff to sign a document. Once again, like I said earlier, there are no victims. If you sign a document, you give up your phone, you're accepting what happens. I'm sorry. That's just the facts. And I don't believe a 13-year-old girl got a ride to the middle of New York and went to a fucking video show. And then she went somewhere else because he couldn't come get her. He had to meet her back. And then she came back. And this is all what? 1, 2, 3 in the morning? No parents is looking for their 13-year-old kid at 1, 2, 3 in the morning. Bullshit. Once inside, two men asked the plaintiff to sign a document, which plaintiff did not read, but which she now believes to have been a non-disclosure agreement. She was told that she could not discuss what happened at the party. She gave the men her name and signed the form, but did not receive a copy. Inside the building, the plaintiff recognized celebrity as she entered what appeared to be a large living room or 40-year containing a large crowd. Plaintiff attempted to mingle in the crowd and talk to several of the celebrities that she recognized and whom she had wanted to see at the VMAs. Wait staff circulated through the room carrying trays of drinks. Loud music played throughout the venue. Plaintiff observed widespread drug use, including marijuana and cocaine. After attempting to talk to numerous celebrities, plaintiff accepted a drink from one of the waitresses circulating the crowd. The drink was a reddish yellow mixture that tasted like orange juice, cranberry juice, and something bitter. Now, if you're 13 and you're getting rides to the middle of Manhattan, bitch, you knew what you was drinking. Talking about reddish yellow, orange juice, bitch, you knew what you was drinking. You probably ordered the fucking drink. Let's stop with the bullshit, if the story's even real. After drinking a portion of that drink, plaintiff began to feel woozy and lightheaded, making her need to lay down. A photograph of an actual exemplary container used by Combs and or his agents' employees to insert GHB into alcohol drinks is seen below. Looking for a place to rest, plaintiff walked down what appeared to be a hallway containing several rooms off of it. So, you go to the VMAs, a limo driver invites you back. He comes back and gets you. You decided to have one drink. That one drink got you fucked up. It should get you fucked up. You 13. It should get you fucked up without nothing in it. See, when you start thinking and paying attention and actually listen to the story without being biased, it's all bullshit. Of course one drink got you fucked up. You 13. That was your first time being, at the bucket list. You not a drinker. You didn't say you party all the time. And this is your first time. They let you in on the secret. They let you see this. This is bullshit. It's all bullshit, folks. She entered what appeared to be an empty bedroom. And then you just walk down some people's house you never been to looking for a bed to lay down? Come on, folks. This shit don't sound right. Come on. Y'all smarter than this. She entered what appeared to be an empty bedroom so she could lay down for a moment. She did not lock the door. This room contained only a large bed with no furniture and any other kind of television or any other furniture. Soon after Combs entered the room. How did he know she was in the room? How did he know you was in the room? How? You just had a drink. You didn't say you seen him or you met him in a party already. You see, when you start talking and reading the paperwork yourself, you start seeing how some of these lawsuits don't make no sense. Soon after, Combs entered the room along with the defendant Carter and a female celebrity, Celebrity B. Is that a clue? Beyonce? Plaintiff immediately recognized all three celebrities. Combs aggressively approached plaintiff with a crazed look in his eyes, grabbed her and said, You are ready to party. Combs then threw plaintiff toward a wall, causing plaintiff to fall. Plaintiff got up and stumbled, at which point Combs grabbed her again and threw her on the bed. At that point, Carter began removing plaintiff's clothes as she grew more and more disorientated. Plaintiff was held down by Carter as he vaginally raped her while Combs and Celebrity B watched. After Carter finished, he stepped back toward the wall. Combs then stepped forward and vaginally raped plaintiff while Carter and Celebrity B watched. Combs then knocked plaintiff down and attempted to force plaintiff to perform oral sex on him. She fought back, standing up quickly and punching out at the same time, hitting Combs in the neck. Taken aback, Combs stopped his attempt. When Combs backed away in surprise, plaintiff grabbed her clothes and shoes and ran out the bedroom, holding her dress in front of her like a towel. So y'all believe that she punched Diddy in the neck and that shit threw him off so much. A 13-year-old girl punched a grown-ass, strong-ass man in the neck and he just let you run out. I don't believe a bit of this. She ran around the residence until she found the front door and was able to leave the party. Although there were other guests still at the party, no one appeared to take notice of plaintiff's distress or attempt to help her. Once outside, plaintiff put her clothes back on and left the scene in the dark. Plaintiff attempted to retrace her route, taken by the limo driver. She kept running until she reached a gas station she noticed on the way to the party. A female clerk noticed her distress, allowed her to use the phone. Plaintiff called her father, admitted that she had lied about her whereabouts, and asked him to pick her up. Plaintiff's father arrived to pick her up shortly before dawn. So, you telling me you 13 and you ran around town and you was gone till 4 or 5 in the morning and you called your father and decided to tell him you lied where he is at and you got raped and all of that and your father didn't take you to the hospital? Your father didn't want to sue Jay-Z back then? Your father didn't want to beat up Jay-Z and Diddy back then? Bullshit. After the assault, plaintiff fell into a deep depression which continues to affect her parts of her life. Plaintiff suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder and seizure disorder caused by stress and trauma. Me too, from the stress and trauma of reading this bullshit. Plaintiff has had difficulty maintaining normal relationships and lives largely withdrawn from society. First cause of action. Plaintiff hereby incorporates each of the foregoing paragraphs as if fully settled for a parent by forcing sexual contact unto plaintiff as a minor female. Defendants Combs and Carter committed a crime of violence motivated by gender under the Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act, as defined in New York City Administrative. The requirement that the crime of violence be committed because of gender and or the bias of gender and due at least in part to an anonymous based on victim's gender is satisfied. Because defendant Combs and Carter forced minor plaintiff to engage in sexual interaction without consent, Jane Doe could not effectively consent because of her age. The non-consensual sexual touching of a minor herein presents a serious risk of physical injury and, in fact, cause such injury gender minus inherence which consent is absent. Combs' long history of violence and sexual abuse against women evinces a deep contempt and desire of domination of other women. The Combs business enable and conspire with Combs and Carter to commit crime of violence motivated by gender because the Combs and Carter sexually assaulted plaintiff at party related to or referencing Combs business. On information and belief, Combs business routinely committed sexual act and gender-motivated violence as detailed in other civil lawsuits. To further the business purpose of Combs' enterprise, given Combs' long-standing patterns and practice committed sexual violence against women, the Combs business had and or should have had knowledge of Combs using such parties and venues for his useful conduct and did not as unlawful conduct and did nothing to stop it. The Combs business enabled and conspired with Combs to commit the crime of violence motivated by gender. And of course, that just keeps repeating. The Combs business enabled and conspired. The Combs business further enabled and conspired with Combs committed the crime of violence. On information and belief, plaintiffs allege the defendant organizing those 1 through 10. As a result, defendants' actions, plaintiffs suffer damages in amount to be determined at trial and pursuant to the fee-shifting provision of the statute. This legal action has been commenced within the statutory time frame provided by the 2-year look-back window. So they passed a law that if a nigga did something to you 100 years ago, you got 2 years to look back at it. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Awarding compulsory damage for all physical injuries, emotional distress. So this ain't nothing but legal jumbo. I ain't gonna read it. You see what it is. As you see, December 8th, 2024. There you have it. Like I always say, I present you with the facts. I give you my opinion on the facts. What you do with those facts and how you take them is on you. My word is not law. My opinion is not law. It is what it is. But like I say, if you like how I do it over here, click that like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, click all so you can get notifications every time I drop one of these videos. And if you're a supporter of the channel, much love and respect goes out to you. Salute. And if you one of them haters out here that believe all this bullshit, cut the shit. That part.